What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna be getting into my Week 3 college football predictions. Before we get into that, let's look at what I got right and what I got wrong from the previous week. We got a lot of crazy games going. The first game, we have the Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on Colorado. Sanders Buffaloes got the job done, 36-14, big time win for the Colorado Buffaloes. Then this next game, the Utes just barely beat Baylor. They were down by like 6-13 in that game early on. That's a little bit concerning for Utah, but they got a game-winning touchdown, questionable PI call, I think, but the Utes win that one. Notre Dame does dominate NC State, so I did get that one right. I did get the Iowa Hawkeyes over the Iowa State Cyclones right. That one was a close one, though. In that rivalry game. First game, it looks like, for those two. Yeah. I did pick the Tulane Green Wave upset. I was excited to see this Tulane team in action, but they're just not able to get the job done, unfortunately. So the Green Waves, lose in that one. Did pick the Miami Hurricanes upset right. I had a feeling about that one. Miami completely dominated Texas A&M on offense, and they get the job done in that one. Then a very crazy game if you watch this one, UCF versus Boise State. Boise State, tough loss. They fall to 0-2. UCF, I believe Boise State scored a touchdown. Then they had a 2-point conversion, didn't get it. UCF went down the field with like 2 minutes left and scored a game-winning field goal. So that's what you love to see if you're a Knights fan. Unfortunate loss for the Broncos there. Oregon won that one against Texas Tech. That was a crazy one. Oregon almost lost that game. They had a pick six like with 3 minutes left, so that's why they were up by 8 or like inside 2 minutes, I think, actually. So Oregon, big time win. The Crimson Tide, the number 3 team in the country, does go down to Texas. That was a surprising upset. Texas, every time these two play, it seems like it's pretty darn close. The Longhorns finally get it this time in Alabama. That's pretty crazy that they got that win. And then Oklahoma State gets the win over Arizona State. Not too much doubt in my eyes for that one. All right, so that means I went 8-2 on the week, much better than my 4-6 start. So now I have a 12-8 record, which is pretty good from that 4-6 start, but I'm definitely wanting to improve that a little bit more. Let's see if we can have another good week here. Starting out with this first game, we have the Kansas State Wildcats taking on Missouri. Kansas State's had a really good start to this year. They had a really good season last season as well. It is an SEC team here, though, which could be problematic. I could see Missouri pulling off this upset, but I am going to go with Kansas State in that one. Next up, we have LSU versus Mississippi State. The Tigers obviously lost that first game of the season, Mississippi State here. So we got a first game of this SEC. Tough loss LSU had against Florida State to begin this season. I am going to give this one to LSU, though. I think that there's just clearly the better team over Mississippi State. It is being played in Mississippi State, so it could be an upset, but I'm going to give it to LSU. All right, North Carolina gets Minnesota. Minnesota's not a team to what do you call it? I'm losing the word, but mess with. Yeah, mess with. Not a team to mess with in Minnesota, but don't see an upset happening there. North Carolina's had a good start to this season as well. So I'm going to give that one at home. Virginia Tech against Rutgers. Rutgers have had a surprising start to the season, but I'm feeling the Hokies here. I'm feeling them to come into Rutgers Stadium and pull off an upset. I know the Rutgers Scarlet Knights have started out 2-0, but Virginia Tech's still a really good team out of the ACC as well. I think that they can pull off a big-time upset. All right, Tennessee against Florida. Florida played not so great, honestly, in their first game against Utah, but it looks like they got the win. But now we have Tennessee here. I'm going to give this one to Tennessee. I just don't see the Gators winning that one. They did not play good in their first game. All right, Pittsburgh now battling it out against West Virginia. Fun one here. This is a good one. I'm going to go West Virginia out of the Big 12. I think they're a good team. Pittsburgh's had their setbacks this season for sure, so I think that West Virginia can win that one. That's going to be a close game. I could see that one going either way. All right, next up we have Purdue against Syracuse. Purdue had that rough loss to start of the year against Fresno State, but it looks like they bounced back last week. Syracuse, pretty good team in the ACC. This is an interesting one. Let me pull something up real fast. See how Purdue looked in their last game. Sorry, guys. Let me just see. Phone's being so slow. Yeah, they just barely beat Virginia Tech. That's still not a loss to be too mad about. This is a good one. It is being played in Purdue. I think I'm going to give this one to the Boilermakers in an upset pick here. I think Purdue had a rough start, but they got a win against Virginia Tech on the road, big-time win. Now they get to play at home against another ACC team. Syracuse, pretty good team, but I don't think that they're going to win that one. All right, TCU versus Houston now. Houston almost lost to UTSA in week 1. It looks like they lost last week. Horned Frogs obviously lost to Colorado to start out the year. I think that they can bounce back in a Big 12 showdown now with the new Houston Cougars. This one is a Texas matchup here, so it should be a fun one, but I just don't believe in Houston this season. I believe more in TCU, so I'm going to give it to the TCU Horned Frogs. All right, and then we got another game with Colorado against Colorado State. You see that 99% to 1%. That should be an easy win for Colorado. I know it's a rivalry game, so maybe Colorado State shocks the world, but I'm going to give that one to Deion Sanders' group. The Buffalo's already up to 18th in the country now. All right, and then the final game here, we have the Fresno State Bulldogs taking on Arizona State. Good start to this year for Fresno State, beating Purdue and obviously winning last week. Arizona State has had a shaky start. Obviously, as I mentioned, losing last week to Oklahoma State. And they just barely beat Southern Utah. So I'm shaky on Arizona State. It is being played in Arizona. But Fresno State, I think if they can beat Purdue on the road, they can definitely beat Arizona State. I'm going to give this one to the Bulldogs. So that is my college football predictions, guys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that content today. Comment down below your thoughts and your predictions. Anyway, guys, peace out.